Paul ends this section by writing this in verse 21. Paul says, I do not set aside the grace of Yahweh. For if righteousness comes through the law, then the Messiah died for nothing. When you set aside the grace of Yahweh, or when you frustrate the grace of Yahweh, that's how the King James puts it, or when you make void the grace of Yahweh, that's how the American Standard renders it. When you say that you are saved by a work of the law that you perform, as the first century, many of the first century Judahites were saying they were saved simply because they were a Judahite by birth. Simply because they were an Israelite. I'm saved. Circumcision obviously follows because they're circumcised when on the 8th day. So therefore, if they're a Jew by birth, then they're circumcised. When you say that you are right with Yahweh because of anything that you are or anything that you do, you are taking Yahweh's grace and you're setting it over here on the shelf as though you don't need it, and you're frustrating the grace of Yahweh. You're making void the grace of Yahweh.
That's right, brother.
You're picking up His marvelous grace and you're laying it over here in the dirt and you're kicking dirt on it and you're acting like you don't need His grace because I can be righteous and I can be justified by simply who I am in and of myself. And Paul says, no! No! If that's the case, then the Messiah died for nothing.
That's right.
There was no reason for Him to come.
Come on, brother.
Listen to this, brothers and sisters. Why would the Messiah even have to die for your sin if you could be perfect in the law?
That's right.
Why? Why would He even have to come?
That's right.
The whole reason that He came is because you couldn't do what He did.
Come on, brother.
Grab a hold to that doctrine and be faithful in that doctrine and be thankful for that doctrine.
Amen, brother.
Oh, I love my Messiah. I failed Yahweh many times. But He never failed. He never failed. Even when Satan himself came to tempt the Messiah had been fasting for 40 days and 40 nights. And the devil himself came to tempt the Messiah. And it's recorded for us, those temptations there. And each time, Yeshua said, no, 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 no. I'm not going to give in. I'm going to serve the Almighty. Be thankful that when the devil came to tempt the Messiah, that the Messiah did not give in to temptation. The first man, Adam, said yes to sin. The second man, Adam, said no to sin. And he continued to say no to sin, not just one time. Doesn't it feel good? Have you ever had a time in your life when you're tempted to sin and you don't give in to that temptation and you don't sin and you say, whew, praise Yahweh, I feel so good that I didn't give in to that temptation.
Amen.
That's something that we have the opportunity to feel because the Messiah now lives in us. But there's been many times where you and I have been tempted to sin, and you know what we did? We gave into that temptation, and we sinned. But Yeshua was tempted in all points, just as we are, yet without sin, Hebrews 4:15. I do not frustrate the grace of Yahweh. For if righteousness comes through the law, the Messiah died for nothing. The fact that every single one of us have sinned is proof enough that none of us can obey the law as it is written and commanded. It does not matter what any Messianic, Hebrew roots, or Torah-observant person tries to tell me. It does not matter how much they want to argue about this. I will always go back to the fact that they have not always kept the law. End of discussion. You're not the Messiah. I'm not the Messiah.